All right, we'll just start with this. This is the Smite Pro post. Boom, 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 boom. All right. So we've got the roster leakage. So a high res today dropped the patch. This was supposed to come out next week, I think. And they fucked up, left it in the game when the patch went live. And everyone saw it. So they weren't going to take it out. And they have it in the game. So we've got 8 teams. We've got the Valhalla Valkyries, the Olympus Bolts, the Tartarus Titans, the Camelot Kings, the Solar Scarabs, the Jade Dragons, the Oni Warriors, and the Atlantis Leviathans. All right, the first thing we're doing when we go on these rosters, talk about these names. The Solar Scarabs is probably the shittiest overall name. I don't even know. It doesn't even matter if I know how to say this. Everyone is going to say this the same way unless they look it up. Titan's cool. Why they have to give Spin and the boys Tartarus? Is it Tartarus? How do you actually say this? I want to know. Nobody's going to take the time to look this shit up. Fuck. How do you pronounce it? I don't want to watch one of these videos. All right, whatever. It doesn't even matter. They bamboozled Spin. They gave him a good secondary name, a fucked up first name. The Solar Scarabs is Duru name. Duru. Just Duru. And this, I think, is the worst. The Olympus Bolts. Jade Dragons is the best name by far. By like miles ahead of everything, in my opinion. I'd probably put Valhalla Valkyrie second. I'd probably do Camelot Kings third. Oni Warriors fourth. Atlantis Leviathans fifth, maybe? Maybe? I don't know. I just know, like, after you get away from something, dude, they bambooed. The Titans had such a good setup. I literally thought the name with Titans in it was gonna be the best. I'm surprised. I don't know what the fuck this is. I wish that wasn't a thing. All right, let's go to these rosters. The Valhalla Valkyries. We got Raffer coming back after all the rumors of him retiring. We have Emilito as a hunter. We have Zani as the jungler, Zeros as the mid, and Ducky as the solo. This team's exciting for 2 reasons. Zoom in. Need me to zoom in? You can't see the names? What? You need me to go like this? Boom. That better for you? Is that better for you? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Zani jungling in the SPL. He's at least known as the best jungler from Europe, from anywhere other than NA. Probably best 2 junglers, at least on paper, that's not been in the SPL. And should have a crazy season. Aside from that, Ducky should, on paper, have a good team around him. And with the skill he showed for a lot of last year, he's a better player than I think he's been able to play. So we're going to see if Ducky beast modes with a better roster, if he is as good as people are hyping him up to be, and same with Zani. You basically have 2 people that many would vouch and say they were like top 5 in their role, but couldn't fulfill that with their team, or at least for Ducky, and then Zani hasn't been in the SPL yet. But everyone thinks he'll be one of the best junglers. It's exciting for these 2 players. Bringing Raffer back is dope. Losing him kind of sucked. The support role is really weak right now if you start losing people like Raffer. And Melito back in the SPL. I'm assuming he's gonna be taking it pretty serious. And then Zero's dude's fucking beast. You already know he's good. It just depends on who does shot calling for this team and how these two people play. The Olympus Bolts. The fucking Olympus Bolts. This makes me think of like what a 4-year-old would name their little league team. It hurts my soul, bro. We got Jake, we got Barracuda, we got Lazarus and Ven. Same 4. And then they picked up Haddix. Haddix did really well when he filled in for Sanguine, right? It was Sanguine in the one LAN. So we know he's a decent player, he's a good player. I think Solim seems to be the lane where everyone is pretty good when they come into the SPL in that role. And don't really most of the time lose the game for their team. So it's going to be whether the core 4 keep getting better or not.
Let's go, baby. You
chose this name, Spin? Wait, did they give you names like you had to choose from a pool of names? There's no way. What the fuck is this? Not only that, I'm not even mad at you guys now. Motherfuckers chose the Olympus Bolts. They chose the Olympus Bolts. They chose the Solar Scarabs. This looks like scabs. Bruh. Oh my, and this name is just too fucking long. Here's the thing. I understand.
Thoughts on the new teams?
These are all words that have some meaning within the god lore and shit. But for people that don't know what it is, I'm just looking at the names for what they fucking look and sound like. The same way I rate your all's names in game and on Twitch. Same fucking way. I just don't know why they chose the Olympus Bolts. Whatever. We're going back into this. So this roster, I actually think will be good. This is an exciting roster to me because I think Ducky's a really good player. I like Ducky a lot, and I'm excited for Desani in the jungle. Because there was all this talk of him not coming to the SPL. I don't know if he's too young or something, like he wasn't going to be able to, or his family didn't want him to or something. So it's exciting to have him in it. You're sure
OBX
some teams did not choose their names? Okay.
Tip $3. Pronounced Tartarus. Tartarus is a deep abyss that is used as a dungeon of torment and suffering for the wicked.
You guys didn't. I got you.
Titans.
Pronounced Tartarus. Okay. Pronounce it sounds better. Tartarus Titans. I mean, you're not going to see that word, I'm assuming, for the most part. We'll probably just see Titans everywhere. Is the deep abyss that is used as a dungeon of torment and suffering for the wicked. Okay. So, Spin is the villains this year, is what you're telling me, based on that. The villain team. All right. We got the Olympus Bolts. We already went over this. I think Lazarus good. I think Jake had a really amazing season last year. I think Ven has been playing decent. I think Haddix isn't. I think he's a good pickup. I don't think he's better than the players they played with last season for the most part. I'll be surprised if they are anywhere other than middle, lower end of the pack once we get to like the middle of the season. We got the Tartarus Titans, Aurora, Spin, Scary D, Paul, Benji. So Aurora, Spin, and Benji still playing together. They picked up Paul for the mid lane. Who the fuck was your mid lane last year? The Dardes or big man things? So these like big man things or something. Tartarus. All right, whatever. We got Paul swapping off of a team. I'm not gonna say they were bad. I'm gonna say with all of the drama that happened with the Knights. Knights. Like within their shit. The fact that they were scrimming poorly going into Worlds. The fact that they were like a 7th or 6th place team going into Worlds. Going into the tournament for Worlds. You are basically guaranteeing Paul is surrounded by 4 players that are objectively better in their role. You've got Scary D swapping from solo lane to jungle. I think that the game is at a point now for these players that have played for so long that the top end, the people who are the best in their role, if they put enough time into another role, all they have to do is learn the beginning stages of the game for their new role. Because team fighting is kind of the same. You do a different job, but it seems like in every role at some point you do all the different styles of team fighting. You do the diving, you do the peeling, you do this and that. Like, you do a little bit of everything. So I think Scary plays ranked, grinds out ranked, they scrim, and then he's comfortable going into the SPL, and he's probably team fighting like a beast because he's still playing a frontline dive god just with more damage. And he can also, if they're struggling, he can go in hybrid builds and play kind of the same way he already does. So I think this team is going to be fucking scary. I think this team is going to be scary as long as whoever's doing the shot calling adjusts for the way each of them want to play. I mean, you got Benji who frontlines like a champ. You have another frontline player who is now jungling. Oh yeah, Cherio's coaching this team too, which is, I mean, I don't know how much he's actually going to be doing. We'll see. Spin, still one of the top 2 hunters objectively in the role. Aurora, some of the best supports of the role. This will be the team that everyone will be like, it's the super team. Even though it's just a bunch of really good players playing together, and there's a bunch of teams that are like that now. Everyone's going to say top 2 team. I'm going to say
Ultimatex 13
if Scary comes into the role comfortable, it comes into the SPL, their first match comfortable, this team chills around like number 1 seed mostly. Like, I don't see them falling out of number 1 seed. I really don't know how this team on paper falls out of number 1 seed. The only thing that would be surprising is if they were caught off guard with meta and someone was ahead of them in the meta, ahead of the curve. So middle, lower middle, top end. You got the Camelot Kings, which is another. These it's crazy looking at these players in this league. It's crazy looking at the players in this fucking league. I know they slapped him so hard he swapped roles. Yeah, that's not really how that works, but okay. I mean, even if Final K won lane, Final K didn't do enough for his team to win the game. And Scary D did. So it is what it is. Can't really shit talk somebody who won. That doesn't really make much sense. Anyway, Camelot Kings. I hate this. I hate the C and the K. My name is spelled with a K, so I fucking hate this like contrast. It's disgusting. Guardian support player Genetics coming over. He played with what team was that he played for a little while?
It's been 2 years. Let's go.
Drain, thank you. GZ Dave, thank you. Shweddy, thank you. Ultimate, thank you. Huntor, thank you. United, yeah, United. I knew there was like a red fucking team. All right, so he came over. He played online for United and didn't last that long. They didn't do that well. He had like a really good couple of games, and then he kind of the teeter off. Was playing online. Can't really count it against him. The Genetics, Netrioid, so he swapped away from Sanguine and is now on the Camelot Kings. Twig is in the jungle, where he's definitely going to be more comfortable than in the mid lane. So this is definitely like for his personal skill, way better for him. Big Man Tings, who a lot of people were arguing was one of the top mids going into last year. Mid, and then Variety is playing solo.
And it went out as soon as I ordered it. Now I have to wait for them to get more in.
All right, so this is literally like Team EU with Netroid. This is a wild card team. This is a wild card team because it's been a while since Twig jungled. I don't know who carries this team for the most part. Twig was always like the bait / divey hybrid jungle player. So I don't know who the hard carry is for this team. Where like you look at this team and you know there's multiple people to look at for a hard carry. Like very easily. This team is gonna be surprising. I think Variety is a really good solo. I think Big Man needs to have a big year. I think Twig needs to prove himself in the jungle just like he did in the mid, which kind of sucks for him. Netroid, everyone knows he's good, but we'll see if he plays the fill like carry role. And then Genetics, it's being on land now. Is he a beast, or was what we saw last year what we saw? Solar Scarabs, I fucking hate this name. I don't know why they did this. Inbound in the support. Zapman in the hunter. This is what everyone's talking about. So he tweeted today. I don't want to like misquote him. He tweeted today that he went to bed the night they were putting in rosters. Where the fuck is the tweet? Yes. He said he was on a different roster, went to bed thinking apps were sent in, woke up being removed. So I am very interested in what team that is. I hope that comes out at some point just because it's interesting. So he got basically kicked off his team without being told last second, and then swapped over to the Xbox boys. It's not fair to say that. Bobby's not an Xbox boy. Layers is definitely not an Xbox boy anymore. Ironic beast moded on mouse and keyboard. But anyway, you got the boys who came and started from Xbox. Layers gonna have a big year potentially. He is the star of this team, 1000 fucking percent. I think this team is going to be better than anyone wants to say. I heard stuff and rumors about people hating playing with Zatman last year. I don't know if that was the sole reason for the team being doo-doo for the whole year or having trouble. I can tell you it was a factor in the whole team splitting the fuck up and no one playing with each other and wanting to get the fuck out. But I think he comes in this team and he knows how everyone felt last year, and he's going to have to change his attitude. I think these three players are going to be crazy comfortable together. Bobby, Layers, and Baronic are going to be crazy comfortable together, and that's going to make them better. They're going to be friends, playing together on their normal grind. They know the expectations. They know their play styles. I think these three are going to fucking beast mode and be a really core reason why this team is good, because it's just that mid 3v3 I feel is going to be important this year. You say rookies. Layers is a rookie, as in he needs to prove himself for his first year in the SPL, but like he's played with everybody forever for a long time and gotten a lot better. Baronic is the rookie. We're gonna like, this is the watch person on the team. Hope he doesn't bring him down. Zap needs to have a big year or he's gonna struggle to find a team in season 9 based on this. And then Solar Troll shifted off of a team. I heard stuff about this being attitude. I don't know if that was true or not. So this team is like, can they keep their mental in check? And can these three play together like everyone knows they can? Like, are they going to play together the way that we know they can? This is a huge question mark. Massive question mark. Massive. It's literally mental, team mental. And are these three going to be as good as I think they are? I don't know what to expect from this team. This team could like pop and play off of energy and play off momentum, or they could have a struggle and just fall to the bottom. Really interested to see this fucking team and see Bobby with some people that he's like really good friends with. So there is the Solar Scarabs, Jade Dragons. So this is old Ghost with a swap. They got Guardian, PBM. We already know he's a beast. Hunter, Panda Cat, objectively one of the top 2 hunters with spin in the role. Jungle Sam was pretty much known as the best jungler last season, one of the best players in the game last season. Then he went into Worlds and he played good, but he didn't play as good as everyone knew he could. So does he come out swinging? How does this season go for him? We'll see. We already know he's going to be good. Is he going to be great or not is a question. You got Heroin now in the mid lane, who played well statistically with a team that might not have necessarily been playing well. It seemed like they went through a fuck ton of changes. That was at United. They went through a ton of changes. So I think him being in a comfort spot is going to make him look better no matter what. He's like set with this team. With this fucking core, they made Twig look really good towards the end of the season. Any mid is going to look good with this core of 4. So take a good player who knows how everyone wants to play. He's friends with these guys. This team is going to be fucking nuts. This is an interesting change. I just think this should only be good for this team. No way this should be bad. If it is bad, there's some mental going on, and it'll have to do with either the household, like them being in the house together or something, but we already know these guys have lived together. So I just can only see this team being good. Top 2 team. No reason for them not to be. No fucking reason for this team not to be top 2. It'll be disgusting if they're not. It'll be like, that'll be the thing that would kill them, is if they struggle, because they shouldn't come out struggling. Like last year when they moved Twig, they knew they were going to struggle a little bit, and then they got better and better and better really fast. This team is going to have high expectations, and if it doesn't work out, it might turn really bad for them. We'll see. We got the Oni Warriors, which is Neilma in support, Vote, Hunter, Cuvo jungle, Dardes mid, Solos, Nika. So you have another EU team with Neilma thrown in here. I think Neilma can play with anybody, but as I mentioned, world champion team broke up because of mental. From my experience, Neilma isn't a big like confrontational guy. So as long as things are smooth and everyone's communicating well in this team, which I'm guessing they will, just based off of Nika and Cuvo. I don't know much about Dardes or Vote. I think this team will be solid. If everything clicks, they ended up towards the upper side, but they're probably just a middle of the pack team. And last team is Atlantis Leviathans, which is basically Sanguine with Jarkor playing Hunter, and they brought up Julio. I've never seen Julio play. I've only heard what everyone says. Everyone says he's fucking good, really fucking good. So, and I already mentioned, I think solo lane is just like a role where most players come in good, like they're not losing the game for their team. So we'll see how this goes. This might be, as of right this second, the worst change in the entire league. Like, I'm looking through the players. If you just look at how he's been doing in ranked, this might be the worst change in the entire thing so far. He can get better over the year, but coming out, he will not be competing with these hunters. His team might be pulling the weight, especially if Julio's good. But Jarkor as a hunter, if you've seen the games, if you looked at everything, it's not good right now. So this will be their weight, their anchor. I only think Sanguine was good for a good portion of last year because of their synergy. Their synergy is fully thrown off by moving somebody to a different role and picking up a new player. So to me, outside of knowing Shinto is going to play well, this is more than a question mark. This should not end up being a strong team. At least not for a couple months, to give Jarkor a shit ton of experience. He sold Variety twice at Worlds at 200 plus pay. Yeah, everyone says he's beast. So, yeah, there's my thoughts on each team. I mean, I'm excited because I think a lot of these teams could be really fucking strong. Like, I want to see this team play. I want to see this team fucking play. I want to see how this team is at the middle of the year. I want to see this team play because I already they're going to be a ridiculously good fucking team. And then I think a lot of the other teams will I think Neilma and the Oni Warriors and Nika and them are insane players, so they have the potential to like just click and be the top team. But we don't know if that's gonna happen. Just based off of names on the teams, I would put the Titans first, especially because I'm going to safely assume these changes were made not just based on skill and based on want to play with people. I'm gonna fucking hope that, because just throwing skill together is not enough. So I'm gonna hope this is what they did this year. I'm gonna put this team number 1. I'm gonna put fucking the Dragons number 2. I'm going to put this one's hard, dude. I'm gonna put the Oni Warriors number 3. I'm gonna put the Valkyries number 4. The Kings number 5. The Bolts. Wait, who am I missing? The Bolts number 6, the Scarabs number 7, and Leviathans number 8. And that's just based off of names. There's no way to actually. That's not even a. That's like a power ranking, not based off. Like, you can't base anything off. There's no games. We haven't seen anything. We don't even know what strategies are being run in the SPL right now. At the SPL level. The Scary D roll swap has you a little skeptical, but Paul plus Cyclo is scary as fuck. I don't know. like I mentioned, I think at this point with this much experience, these players just need to learn the early game, so they don't even have to learn that much when they change roles, and they play enough. Like, I'm gonna hope, since he swapped roles, he's probably playing the game for like 8 hours a day most days. He's probably gonna learn it pretty quick. Yeah, and in ranked he seems comfortable. Ranked obviously much different from comp, but he seems comfortable. When does SPL start? I don't think it starts for like a month. I don't know the exact day. Dude, I wish I had like I wish I had Hazer's Excel thing where he ranks all the players and he has it color coded and shit. I would love to do that with the players. The SOTC team come together. I'm friends with War Machine. He's friends with 2.0. I just want to play for fun, to have something to do. Trelly needed a team, and I think he's really good. And we played together in that community, that creator content shit. And then we needed a solo, and that's who the boys got for us. Didn't really talk to anybody. I didn't do any setting up. Scream not being in this league is unfortunate. That is a little surprising that he just kind of fell off, but I'm wondering if he even wanted to play. What team is the best possibility of being top 3 that I didn't put in the top 3? I put the Oni Warriors number 3, right? Oh wait, yeah, I did, right? I think this team might be a very top team, like a very, very top team. I think Zeros comes back wanting to prove himself. I think Ducky's put in a position where he has the best teammates he's ever had. I think you have insane fresh energy out of Zani. Is the Z pronounced in his name? I don't want to say his name wrong. I think this is like the hype for him should be like it was for Lasbra, but I don't think he'll struggle at any point in time. I think he's being thrown into a very good situation, and then you have the old school duo lane. They definitely want to play together, or they won't be playing. Emilito went from best ADC in the world to bottom. Yeah, but that happens when you're winning a lot and you stop caring. I mean, if you don't have your actual mental energy thrown into what you're doing, you're not going to be the best. And when everyone else does, then you fall off. There are no orgs in Smite, but from what my understanding is, the orgs can come in and sponsor the individual teams, and it could be like the fucking Valhalla Valkyries by Optic or some shit like that could happen. I doubt it fucking happens. For maybe 1 or 2 teams pull somebody. Like if this team gets a ghost again, is like the Ghost Jade Dragons or something, I wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. But I don't think we'll see many orgs in Smite anymore. Scary D jungle over Scream? Yes. I'd rather have somebody role swap that you know wants to play. Like, there's no way he doesn't role swap as he like someone who really is still wanting to fucking grind the game. It's probably more fun for him swapping roles. So I think I think him in jungle is probably better than him in solo. That would be my assumption, just on paper. The orgs didn't pull out. Hi-Res cut them out because they were a waste. No offense to any of the orgs that were in Smite. They're just taking money. Like everything's paid for. They don't do anything. They don't put any investment into Smite. And it's not necessarily the org's fault either. The way it's handled obviously contributes to all the orgs that have left Smite and never come back. What players you expect to see that aren't on a team? I don't think many team players will be brought in. I think if these teams struggle, they're just going to have to struggle for most of the year. I don't think you'll see many like roster swaps unless there's trades. I do think that if you see a team struggle, it'll be the Bolts, because they think, like, not they think, that's the wrong way to put it. They're a good team who knows they can play well, But how long can they go if they aren't playing well? That'll like, I could see a change coming in here. I could see like whoever either has an attitude or can't handle the shit get swapped out, whether it's like Van or Jake or whoever. I could see a swap here. But this team, I think Zapman's on the chopping block with this team because he played horrible at Worlds. This team is all young, fresh energy. And I know for a fact this motherfucker all have other friends that they'd probably play better with if they had to bring them in. Jake's mental is it's not about mental in terms of raging. See, you guys look at calm from the outside perspective. There's so much more to it, bro. There's lack of communication, which is a mental killer. There's the passive aggressive shit that you guys have heard come up. There's behind the scenes. There's you lose a scrim or you end scrims and then you go like I don't know this shit's happening. I doubt, obviously they're just starting, but say they lose scrims, Jake goes to Barracuda and is like, bro, Ven sucks dick. Like, I fucking hate Ven. That instantly creates animosity, not just from the person who already had it from Barracuda, who also probably tells somebody else. He tells Lasbra. And it's a very shit shifts very quickly when you're in a team in the same house with 5 other people. But like I said, I don't think any of these teams make roster changes other than if this team struggles. I will be surprised if they maybe even solo, like Zap and solo. Probably more Zap because there aren't many other solo winners. Zap could be on the chopping block if this team struggles. I think Bears team pops off. They get along well. It could happen. Like, everything is just me guessing at this point from the little bit of insider knowledge I have and just where these players have been for the last year or two. That is true. Haddix is friends with Jake, from my understanding. But Jake was also friends, or Solo Troll. Was it Solo Troll was friends with Jake? Solo Troll brought in Jake. So, these are the actual teams. The high-res employees tweeted out that these are the teams, and the fucking Twitter accounts are live for these teams. These are the teams. Bear is gonna play until there's nothing else to play. He's not retiring. Twig redeems himself if he wins a championship. It could happen. What up, Trees Hate You? I've had a good day. If Emilito and Raffer want to win and put in the time, they'll win Worlds. I don't think it's that simple, but I think they will be a good team, assuming they're coming in with the energy to play and win. Anatom said he tried to leave the team, but it didn't turn out. Yeah, the only person from this team besides Netroid I see leaving is Shinto and like going to a better team. I don't even know where Panatom would end up. It might have just been a completely different roster that isn't even one of these, but I can't see him taking any of these spots on any of these fucking teams. I don't know. Do you know if they're going to play in the team house or are they going somewhere? I'm assuming they'll be playing on LAN here pretty soon, bro. I'm assuming we'll be seeing a lot of LAN stuff going back. Their LAN. They don't play with like fans and shit. It's just the fucking 10 players, the 2 admins, and the people running shit in the back that they never see. Yeah, I think we're going to see LAN. I mean, I personally think that in the next few months, you're going to see a lot of the world, at least the United States, go back to a normal. Leon didn't get picked up. No, he's playing on a minor league team. I love Andy to death, but I don't even know where he would fit in to any of these teams. Like I mean, maybe he I really don't know where he's better than anyone picked up. Not that he's worse, but like if you're inbound, you're gonna play with layers because he's fucking insanely good and you're friends, right? So like he doesn't fit in here. I don't know where he would fit in. What role does Andy even main? He plays a lot of roles. He's main support at different points. He's main jungle at different points. I don't know if he ever main mid, but he might have. Are you playing on a team? I'm playing with some boys in like the tournament to get into minor league. I don't have huge expectations, playing for fun, and if we make it, dope. If not, then I'll probably just chill. Wolfie and Deathwalker in the same minor league team. Yeah, because that team didn't get admitted in. The old rival boys tried to submit a roster and didn't get accepted, which is, I guess that's really not that weird actually. Yeah, if you're high res, if you're working for high res and you're picking the teams, you see this team and you see like this is a good energy team. This is really good for fucking viewership, and like this has a potential story behind it. Especially for Zap, because if it's the reverse, I talk the bad side for Zap, but if this team pops off,
Ultimatex 13
then
tier deck
not only is it
bits.
the old Xbox
So
boys
since
are
the
now
devs
beast
decided
mode,
the map is getting a few
like
gameplay
LOL,
changes
it's
over
also
the
Zap
season.
like fuck my
The
team who
SPL
ditched
only
me, and
play
I'm
on the
good.
current map for like the first week or two of the competition. The first big change is set to go live in 8.4 with Gilgamesh in April.
No, Ultimate, the SPL players, if there's big map changes coming in, they'll get to play on their own server and scrim on the new shit before we even see it. Like when we played on the new map for the content creator shit, that was the SPL people's stuff. Zeros is good. He's a good player. The rival team got knocked out in the second round. The SEC. Oh, did they really? See, I heard some other teams lost too. I kind of like felt bad because we lost, and then like I was talking to someone last night, and they were like, "Yeah, a lot of teams I guess didn't do as well as they thought." I don't know. Is it because everyone's getting better, or is it because that team's not as? I don't know. I guess it's a good thing Harris didn't pick them up. Bring back the old rival, crazy hype, and then it just falls off.
Yo, I just got my Zaxxon today and I'm super hyped.
I mean, those players have been out of it for a while. Wolfie had a rough season last season. Yeah. I mean, on paper, it makes sense. I like these teams. Like, I don't know. I like these teams. I'm excited for SPL to start. Like, I want to watch these fucking games. As I look at them, I like get more hype about different things. This is, to me, I've not watched a lot of him play, but what I have seen, you can tell how fucking good he is. So I'm excited for this team. I'm very excited to see this team, especially out the gate. I hope they're decent out the gate. Cyclone, do you know when games start for you guys? Purple tuxedos, you get matched in with people of your skill level, so you'll be fine. Zani has an adapting style. I don't think adapting had his same style the last 2 years, bro. Because Lazra Lazra's playstyle was mimicking adapting. It was the play the option, play for the last person in the fight, base what you're gonna do off of what happens in the first few seconds of the fight and before you even go in. That's how adapting used to play. Lazra started doing that. That play style does not work really anymore. I've seen Zani play. He doesn't just do that. But when I watched him play, that's not what he was doing. Imagine if Valhalla had Baskin. Baskin would have no synergy with this team. Ducky is friends with Zeros. He's friends with really good friends with Raffer. If he's friends with Raffer, I'm assuming he's really good friends with Emilito. And I think all of them are pretty cool with Zani, just from the conversations I've heard. I mean, if his playstyle is only going late, if him and Laz have the same playstyle, they will hinder their teams. The playstyle doesn't work. That shit doesn't work right now. Where you see like the Sam for soccer playstyle, where him and fucking Final K are hitting the same target at the same time in their team fights, in their group team fights. Like, it's instant. It's fucking crazy. Not much competes with that. From my little bit of insider information, the Knights, some people on the Knights hated each other going into fucking Worlds throughout the season. They despised each other, might have been a better word. And I think you can see that. You can see Neilma on a team by himself, so he must have wanted to get away. Scary D swapped over to a different role, but this kind of doesn't surprise me. I think this makes sense for him. I think it's just new, and he's with a good group of people that he's comfortable with. That man apparently, like, he tweeted that he got shafted and kicked off of a roster last minute, and then ended up on this team. Oh yeah, Cubo's on this team. My bad. Cubo and Neil are still playing together, so obviously these two are still, they're good. So we can assume they're good. Scary D, something happened where he wanted to change roles, or the opportunity arose, and he liked that better. And then who's the other person on that roster? Paul, you knew was gonna leave. He almost left last year. I don't know why he decided not to, but he almost left last year when Sam left. So he was pretty much guaranteed gonna leave. Especially you get offered this fucking roster, you're gonna go. And if you're not happy, like everyone fucking hates each other, it's gonna happen. But my guess is the 4 people that lived in the team house are probably pretty close, and Zapman wasn't. That's my guess. I think Haddix and Julio are going to be top solo laners like Benji Fina. I think solo lane is the role that everyone gets to that, like, that consistent, really good level very quickly, and you don't see a lot of people struggle in the solo role. So yes, I think they will get up to being very good. It's just about if they are ridiculously good consistently. People are hyping up Julio, so he has to live up to the hype. And then Haddix, I mean, we know he can play, so we'll see how he comes out with this roster.
Good night, guy.
Cyclone, when you dropped it, Riley was telling me, he's like, thank God you put one out, and started telling me everything. Danza OP, and then like what, 4 other gods are pretty good, or like 8 top tier. Won't Renegades have the same issue as last year with no shot caller? From what I've seen, Lasbra does the shot calling. I don't think Lasbra knows how to play the game without being the shot caller. No, that's not why they picked up Variety. They kicked Solar Troll because of attitude. Or he like didn't want to play. Fuck, dude, I don't want to start shit, but I remember something like he died in a game and threw up the F6 vote. So they benched him because of attitude. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not. And then I think they were going to let him play, or he did play, and then they decided to kick him anyway. So yeah, I'm guessing he was being toxic. They told him to chill, benched him, cooled off. They must have had some conflict of like somebody wanted him to still play, which was probably like Jake, and then the others wanted him gone, and then they kicked him. Fair to say Old Ghost are the favorites? No. I think everyone knows Old Ghost is going to be good, but everyone wants to see this team. Like, this is the team I want to see compete. This is the team that has to, like, it shouldn't fall under super team stereotype, but looks super team-esque. So we need to see if they click. Yeah, they kicked him after beating Ghost. Yep. SOD said himself he didn't have a strong mental game. I don't know if layers shot calls. So this team might come down to just shot calling as well, because someone just said they want to see this team play. I think Netroid in the UK team is kind of weird. No, he was like the one player from this team who was friends with a lot of people throughout the pro league. And there are not a lot of insane ADCs. I'm really not trying to be a douche to anybody, but like, it's not like the solo lane where everyone is fucking good, but then you have your top. I don't know. It's like you have your gaps. I mean, these motherfuckers had to move Jarkor to Hunter, and I don't know if this is still the same thing. Hold on, let me see something. This is just ranked and shit. I don't know how scrims go for them, but let me see if I can actually pull this up. No, all right, so his shit's hidden right now. The games I've had Jarkor or seen Jarkor in, he just gets fucking farmed, like really badly. Scarabs seem kind of weird to you, like they could be good, but I could see them being bottom. Yeah, I mean, this team is the core three if they're gonna pop off, and where's that man falls on this team. Never heard of Baronic? He played with Bobby and them on the box. Let's fast forward to SPL. Yeah, I want to see. I want to see. Interesting to pick up SOT after he was kicked. I don't think this team really had a big pool of players to pick from. I'm gonna bet that this is how my mind thinks this went. I think instantly Bobby wanted to play with layers. I don't know the Baronic's first choice, but he's definitely in their mind. And then I think they look at who's left over in the solo lane, and Solar Troll is probably the only player who's been a pro. So that makes their roster stronger for being picked up by Hi-Rez, right? Like having Bobby, having Layers, who is just a well-known, like he's been playing, he's been in and out, not quite pro yet, but everyone knows who he is. Like Hi-Rez knows who he is. Mid being a weaker, if you have to go down to Baronic in terms of like, will Hi-Rez want this player? And then you pick up another pro. So you have pro player, they know he can compete. Player they think is probably going to be very good. Player they're not sure about. Player they know they can compete. And then Zatman got dropped from his roster, and they probably instantly swooped up Zatman to guarantee their spot in the SPL. Now, I don't know what rules are or are not in place. I literally have no idea. But if there's no rules in terms of dropping and removing players and shit, I would not be mind blown if some players got dropped because they were only brought in to make sure their teams made it into the SPL. I don't think like that's the type of person Bobby or these people are, but like when you gotta do what you gotta do to get in the SPL. Do you think players are making more under the new model? I don't know if that's public or not. Cyclone, is it public whether you guys like have to negotiate contracts or everyone just signed the same amount of money? I'm gonna guess not. Sounds like politics. I mean, there is politics in this shit. Everyone gets the same amount. Okay, so it's public that everyone's getting that 40K, and then I think their housing, they each get their own amount of money for the year for housing, and I think it's a little over 6,000. I think it's like close to 7,000. So most players are probably making more money than last year. Overall, individually, more money than last year. I'm sure some, I don't know. To me, it's kind of weird. To me, it is not logical unless they have really good things in place to make individual players money somehow with sponsors or something that the high risk is going to bring in for someone like Paul to get paid as much as Baronic. That makes no fucking sense. Iris picked teams based on like their experience, where they were last year, throughout the year, what they did, where they ended up, that kind of shit. What do I think about Scary D jungling? I think if that team has somebody stepping up and doing shot calling well, that team will be strong. He'll play the jungle role perfectly. I've played against him like twice in ranked. And just his game knowledge is very high in general. So like his team fighting, no matter what role, is going to be strong. Does my stream give viewer points? Of course. Yeah, I talked about the Jade Dragons. It's it's literally one of the teams that was top 2 last year, and they got a very much better mid laner, an objectively much better mid laner. Odom, that's what I pay, dude. Why no Chapo, no El Leon? I mean, what team would pick him up over who's on it? Like, if you look at this roster, who do you think he's better than in the jungle? See, I don't think he's better than Twig. Now, I think Twig is one of the weaker junglers in the league now, even with a rookie like Zani coming in. I think he's got more than enough to prove, but I think he deserves to be here. You know what I mean? I think if Mask was playing in the SPL or Cherio didn't leave, those two people I would say are better than Twig, and I would also say they're better than Panatom. But outside of that, like, I think Layers is going to be the core for his team, where I don't think you bring in someone else and they're the core for the team. I don't think you bring in another jungler into their core. They're the carry, most important player for their team. Bastion's not a jungler. Dream team? The problem is you can't make dream teams because it's all about people being friends and clicking and connecting and being in the same mindset. Yeah, Andy also just bought a house. I believe it's in Florida. I know he's not going to want to travel like I did. That shit was horrible. Yeah, like, it's fun in sports and shit to be like the dream team just because everyone's so invested in individual people. But like in Smite, we've seen attempts at what people thought were super teams and they failed. So I just don't look at the game that way. I can't look at that game that way because I play it at a high level. I just can't. What up? My name is Spooky. Thank you for the sub. Neos, thank you for the sub. Best players in each role, in my opinion. I'm probably gonna give you 2 for most roles because I don't think there's individual standouts like at all. For support, I would say PBM and Raffer. For ADC, I would say Panda Cat and Cyclone. For jungle, I would say Sam and probably Cuvo off the rip. But I mean, you're looking at Zana, you're looking at Scary, and you're looking at Layers to see how they do because they could instantly be one of those top 2 players. Mid, you have Paul, and I'd probably say Shinto or Heroin. I would probably say Heroin, but I know Shinto's good, so I'd say Paul and Heroin. Then for solo, I would say Benji and Final K. That's what I would say. Santa's, thank you for the tier 3, 39 months. Neos, thank you for the sub. How are you guys? That would be crazy. I mean, it's just cool to think about who's going to be on top at the end of the year. Like, which one of these teams is going to fucking win Worlds? No idea. It's a guess, but it's just crazy to think about. Basically, Jade have at least 5 top 2 players in their roles. Yep. Top 2 to 3. Yep. Like, how do you think Twig managed? How do you think, like, this team managed to win with Twig? That'd be a better way to play it. Who had to swap roles, did not look good for most of the year, started to look okay on a couple gods, and they still played as the best team / the second best team. You can't do that if you don't have some of the best players on your team. Okay, Cyclone, you've played like 8 roles at the high level. In my opinion, Twig wasn't even one of the best junglers, and he was being thrown into another fucking role. He's thrown in the fucking ADC almost. Like he was just being tossed around, dude. I'm excited to see how these teams are playing on this map. I want to see the pace of the game. I want to see where the grouping is, if it's just the same standard shit. I just want to see what's going on. That's what I'm excited about. And then to see how these players are doing individually and shit. I wanted to look at something else. Oh yeah, someone rated teams. Hold on. That's what I wanted to look at. I don't know who the fucking person is. I want to see. There it is. I want to see how I feel about this. So, Eject the Platypus did roster rankings. I personally don't know who this is. I have no idea who this is. You guys might know. I have no fucking idea. He ranked from top to bottom. So, I want to go the other way. I want to go from bottom to top. So he put Jade Dragons #1. This is just a safe thing. He says Ghost, but with their weakest role placed. Agree. Not to bash on Twig, who I think is a fantastic player, but in many ways, I think he held this roster back. Everyone knows that. Curry coming in, I don't think there's any doubt that this is going to be a top 2 team. I would be extremely surprised if the team doesn't dominate this year. Fair. Fair. He put Oni Warriors at #2. Perfect synthesis between SSG and PK. This team has demonstrated synergy that is going to make them a nightmare to deal with. Okay. Neomov fills in that shot caller role perfectly, and the rest of the components have been proven to work in the past. Team is going to be very, very scary this year. Is Neil doing shot calling? I mean, I think this team is very good. I put them at number 3, right? Yeah, I put them number 3. I don't think you can say they've demonstrated synergy, because just taking 2 people from a team and 3 people from another team or whatever, 2 people from another team, that doesn't create synergy. That's not how synergy works. That's just 2 groups of people who work well together being thrown together. So I don't agree with like necessarily his reasoning. I just think these players are all very good and very driven. Neil was a shot caller. Okay. All right. So we got the Tartarus Titans. This team is an absolute menace on paper. Agree. 7 world championships between the 5 of them. That's some scary stuff right there. My only hesitancy?
What's up,
What's a word?
fellow weak nation?
Is that a word? I don't think I've ever seen or heard anyone say that shit. Hesitancy is scary in the jungle role. If you can pop off, this team is hard to beat. Yeah, I mean, that's just pretty generic reasoning. The Olympus Bolts at number 4. All right, this is okay. The only team I got anywhere close to correct with. Haha. This team is pretty much old Renegades, obviously, with Haddix coming in for variety. I have a good feeling about this team. If they can keep up the trend that they were following last year, this roster made leaps and bounds of progress last year. And I think they can definitely rise up towards the top half. I think they were on a honeymoon phase with variety up until they lost at Worlds. I think the team is good, but I think they were that, like, you get a high off of picking up a new player or like playing with new people who are good. You think they're good and they're playing good. You literally get like an energy high when you play every fucking game. I don't think they were objectively getting better. I think they were playing better because of that honeymoon phase. I don't think this team ends up number 4. Could happen. I just don't think it's gonna happen. Sanguine version 2.0. I don't know how this team is 5th. I don't know how, this is kind of disrespectful, but Sanguine come out of the gates hot. No. Oh, he's saying last year. They came out of the gates hot last year, but you attribute their fall off to their very rigid style of drafting. I mean, okay, statistically last year, Sanguine had the smallest variety of gods picked, and teams were able to figure that out. So you're saying they have small god pools. That's what you should take out of this. So they have small god pools. If Julio can bring something different to the team, no. Solo laners all play the same shit. So this makes no fucking sense. They might be able to break out again. No. I worry personally that they're going to fall into the same rut that they did last year. Jarkor switching roles will also be interesting. This will be weak. This will be a huge... This is a downgrade. There's no arguing. Jarkor from Netroid is... Or Jarkor... Netroid to Jarkor is a massive downgrade. You can't fucking say it's not. There's nobody that should say it's not. Considering the amount of ranked ADC he's been blasting out, I don't think he's going to be lag behind. He's been getting fucking crushed in ranked. And that's shitty ranked. And I saw Riley solo him like 15 times. This is my problem with this team. I mean, he's saying they have a small god pool. They fell off last year and they swapped out one of their better players. So I don't agree with this. I definitely think they're going to be bottom or 7th. I don't know how they're going to end up in the middle of the pack. I really don't. Very interesting mix of players. This Camelot Kings. Very interesting mix of players, but I'm not so sure how well this is going to pan out. The links between these players have not been established really in the past. With the roster, that doesn't mean anything. I'm worried about how well they'll blend as a team, especially Netroid, who has now been stuck with 4 Brits. The language barrier might be difficult to overcome. I'm going to assume he speaks English. And really, Smite English is Gold Fury, Fire Giant, Group, Split, call a god name. That being said, these guys are all very well. And yeah, this team has a good potential. I think Variety's a great player. I think Big Man's a good player. I don't think they'll be top. I don't necessarily not like. I think 6th or 5th is an okay place for them. I think this is okay for them. He does speak English, yeah, so that makes no sense. Valkyries, definitely a team that I'm rooting for, but also the wild card of this group. Raffer and Emil reuniting is definitely a throwback, but they haven't played together for a while. And that doesn't matter if they're friends. That's all that matters is you're actually friends and they're good players. Emil hasn't come off of the most exciting season last year. True. Dazani is obviously great, but this is still his rookie year. The adjustment isn't necessarily going to be great, though. Okay, I don't understand that. High hopes for him. Fair enough. Zeros and Ducky are also interesting as well. This team has a lot of individual components, a lot of name recognition here. But yeah, I think this team is going to be better just because Zeros has a lot of drive to play. Ducky has a lot of drive. Now I know it's even higher with a fucking group of these players. Fresh, old blood being brought in together who are friends. I think they're going to end up higher. This isn't a wild card team for me. I just think they're going to end up higher. If they don't, it's going to be super disappointing unless somebody quits. That would be the only reason I can see them not any higher. Yeah, this is Ducky's actual chance after all these years to shine. So I hope he doesn't fuck that up. Ducky, if you're in here, don't fuck that up. Solar Scarabs. I do not see this working out personally. Layers is definitely the bright spark here, and if he can perform, he can certainly haul this team up. But SOT obviously had a lot of struggles with consistency and attitude last year. Baronic was retired for a year after hitting burnout. I think he just got left behind. I don't think he hit. I mean, maybe that's what he said, but I think he just got left behind. Inbound had a rather lackluster year with Obey, but he started to get better at the end of the year. That's true, but he started to get better. Zab is clearly the weakest link of the PK roster. True, this team could work, but I would be lying if I said, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think this team ends somewhere in this region. Or they make a change and they pop off. But I think with this exact 5 players, I think they end up in this region. What's up, Zavid? I mean, a lot of this is semi-fair. And it is guessing. Just assumptions and guessing, but we'll see. I think a lot of people are thinking similar stuff, though, for the most part. Oh, yeah, the coaches, too. I didn't even think about that. Kabam coaching the Jade Dragons. But is Kabam not working for Hi-Rez anymore? All right. I don't know if Kabam's coaching style has changed. But when I was around, his coaching style was mediator. I think this team needs somebody to sit down and be like boss man whenever they're working on shit. I think he needs to be like, this is what you guys need to work on. Here's how you fucking do it. And I don't think he's that kind of coach. I don't even know if he's actually going to be coaching very much. Yeah, I don't think this team has I mean, obviously everyone has an ego. I don't think ego is going to be an issue to this team, and I think that's what he does. I think he mediates. So I don't know how he coaches this fucking team. I don't know what he does for this team, to be personally, like, that's my personal opinion. He could change up his style, or it could have changed over time. But if he's still doing the same shit, I don't know how he coaches that team. Cherio, I don't even know if he's actually coaching, because he had to go home for military shit, right? So I don't know what his coaching job is going to be for this team. I don't know how in depth it'll be. Hard to say. Smart player though, so it could be valuable. Chuckles, he's been coaching Neil Moss teams for a while, right? And I think he does really well with builds and that stuff. I don't know what he does outside of that. I don't know if he goes deeper. Rowe has coached everything. He knows the game. He does all that shit from my understanding. I don't know who the fuck this is. I don't know if he coached last year. I don't really care. This team could use a good coach massively and be even better, especially last year with the synergy they had. Biggie, we already know Biggie can coach. I don't know how in-depth he goes with this either. I just know he knows how to coach. He's coached a lot of top teams. I've seen the things he talks about, heard him talk. He knows what he's doing. And then Raffer has his girlfriend coaching, or wife, or fiance. I don't know what they are. So they basically don't have a coach. I'm not going to get into that. I don't really give a fuck. Hi-Rez allowed it. Team wanted it. They're doing whatever they want to do. I do know Raffer's gone through some bullshit, like with his house. So this might just be like a necessary thing to get everyone safe and healthy and shit. And then Slaney coaching Solar Scarabs. he's got his work cut out for him. I think, oh, dude, I don't even know. I know Slaney knows the game. I don't know what style of coaching he's going to implement with these boys. But if he coaches the way Kassir did, they won't never get better. A lot of these teams, a lot of these players just need somebody who's neutral to be like, you're fucking up, fix this. And then here's how you fix it. That's what almost every single team that isn't winning every game needs. They need a fucking coach who breaks down everything and how to fucking fix it, like what to work on. Because like in sports, when you're fucking something up, the coach is gonna fucking tell you what you're fucking up and why aren't you doing this or why aren't you doing it that way, and then you're gonna go practice that thing or you're gonna go implement that thing and you're gonna get better. I have not seen coaches do that. People teeter around egos too much. And I think a lot of these teams and all these players would be 10 times fucking better if someone just bitched at them. Like you can bitch at them and then be nice afterwards. The same way coaching happens in most sports. Most coaches, there's different styles of coaching, but like, hey, you're fucking this up, do this. They fix it. You're like, good shit. Nice job. There you go. Boom. How was Kassir coaching? At first he was really good, and then after that he was afraid to tell people they're fucking up. I mean, he didn't really do too much towards the end when I left. Like when I left, I brought up VODs and I was like, how do we fix this? Like, what's going wrong here? Do you tell me after I'd already watched it a bunch? And he's like, I don't know. I got to watch it more. I'm like, no, here is what's happening. How do you fix this? Do you fix it by being a better player and not missing every ability? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. That was when I quit. Nah, I won't sit down and watch VODs for hours, bro. Coaching's a lot of work. Like, you need to be there when they're playing. That is how you will make people better the best. Watching the games like as they go, especially being in person so you can handle shit. Like you can pretty much bring everything up right away and handle it right away. I ain't doing that shit. But yeah, a lot of these teams would be so much better with real coaches. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't, like I said, if Cherry was actually coaching, sick. This team with an actual coach who just airs everything out right away. All problems come out right away. Everyone has to sit down and talk right away. Anytime someone's fucking up, you sit down and tell them what they're fucking up and how to fix it right away. This team is unstoppable mechanically. This team mechanically has 4 of the best mechanical, like literally mechanical players, top 4. Boom, 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 and boom. 4 perfect mechanical players. I don't know. I can't say scary because I don't know him with assassins and shit. Cyclone bias? No. Anyone who knows Smite will tell you he's one of the top 2 hunters. What about Hazer? I don't know if he did that. I don't know if he, like, how he coached. I don't know his coaching style. Panda is on wait, where is it? The Jade Dragons. Yeah, I am excited to see these teams play. What everyone else say here. I don't know. It's funny to see like super outsiders be like, the PK split up. I don't get it. Like, bro, there was some literal just maybe not hate, but borderline hate between some of those players.
Mom the pep laugh.
I don't think anyone's discounting Haddox. Everyone knows he's good. I don't know how you say Lasbro's gonna have to carry a heavy load. I don't think Lasbro was carrying the team. I think he was playing well though. In your opinion, was the worst coaching style? I personally always wanted a coach that would just say what the fuck was going, what they saw someone was fucking up individually or as a team, and how to fix it. Never ever had a coach that would do that consistently. So I think the coaching style that most of these players use, which is really like just stepping around the problems and like trying to like they don't feel like they can say what they need to say because they don't want to piss anybody off. Like that shit, I think is terrible coaching. Would I rank the ADCs? Hold up. There we go. Like I said, Panda, Cyclone at the top. I think Vote is very good. I think Bara is still good. Still consistent. I don't think he's at the top though. I think he's in the middle. Jarkor definitely very, very, very bottom. Netrioid middle. And Melito's got to prove himself. Like we don't know what to expect. He'll either be like third to the bottom or middle, like around middle. He'll still be around middle, I think, even if he's playing bad. If he's playing great, he'll be towards the top. And then if Zatman has to fucking turn his shit around, because watching Worlds last year, it was almost like he was barely playing the game. So we'll see. And that might have just been the whole problem mental between the team. I don't know. Weekend's ego is too big if the jungler messes up. Fuck. He'll just sub into the gate. You're out of here. I'm playing. Nah. No, dude, because you can look at players, even with an ego, even like, I think I'm a good player. I can look at this and be like, all right, like Sam is like, I know these players are better than me. Almost all of them are better than me, or almost like as good as me, right? Some of them I would say are as good as me, not better than me. But you can always make them better. You can make any player better because every player nobody's playing perfect. Everyone's fucking something up. Dude, it's kind of fucked up that their name is the Dragons though, because you already know everyone's gonna be like, bro, did you see what happened with the Dragons? Supposed to be like, what do you mean what happened with the Dragons? Dragging these balls across your face. It's all that we're gonna hear all fucking year, dude. All fucking year. Paul is perfect? No. Paul is insanely fucking good, but he plays too selfish. In games that aren't going the way they need to go, he might not be playing for his KDA. It appears he's playing for his KDA, but he's definitely just playing for himself in those situations. Am I shocked by Scream? No. I don't think, like, Scream was weird last year. He'd play weird picks. I don't like, we didn't, that whole team was really up in there. They kept making changes and shit. It was, I don't know. That's like a wild card. You don't really know what's going on. I think Paul had a chance to go to Ghost last year and didn't take it. So I'm going to assume he doesn't want to play with those people. I'm just assuming. I can be completely wrong. Just assuming, because I mean, assuming is not really the best thing to do, but it's cool to assume. It creates stories in your head. No, I'm not playing the SPL. Don't want to play. Don't want to travel. These teams are all good. All these junglers are good. Paul made a good choice. Yeah, it worked out. The Heroine is an upgrade over Twig. Yes. Wait for Drag? Yeah, what the fuck? Any real mid laner for that team is an upgrade. But then you bring in Heroine, who's friends with them and really good. Solid fucking swap. I'm guessing they probably went right to Heroine too. Like as soon as the year ended, I'm guessing Heroine was probably their top choice for this year. A close amount of GM, I don't know today. It changes with everyone going up. I was 200 MMR off. Or like 150 MMR off. Did WoW get on a team? No, he's playing minor league. Or not minor league. SOC. I mean, he's trying to make it in a minor league, I think. I think Twig's a good jungler. I think he's at the bottom of the list, though, out of these junglers. Herwin can't drag all these nuts across your face like Twig. Twig was just fucked. Like, he was never set up for success with that team. And I don't even think he could, even if he was, I don't think it would have been great for him. It'll be cool to see him jungle again, see if he gets back to his roots, playing consistently, especially with a new team.